Hello everyone and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Timba's Roblox Ninja Warrior. I'm your host, Meetum, better known as Timba. Today we will see the second half of our 100 contestants take on the qualifying course. The qualifiers are organized in 10 waves of 10 people, meaning that every 10 runs, the top 5 results of that wave will move on to the finals where 4 stages and a prize of 1,500 Robux await. In the last episode, 25 competitors already saved their spots and I'm excited to see who the next 25 will be. The first competitor of this episode is a newcomer and goes by the name of Adrian5209. He's up onto the 6 double steps and he's already slipped off on the second jump, that's unfortunate. Next up is Random Ara. I preferred the name, I don't even have to speak, he failed the first jump. Next up is Super Sarah 342. Another newcomer who I haven't seen before in my life. She's taking her time, there she goes. Going slowly. Sometimes going slow is better and safer. But she slips off. Can somebody just complete the first obstacle? Next up is BQRYCE. How do you pronounce it? Oh, okay, that's a little bit of start-like right there, but we're not gonna worry about that. He's moving fast and he has completed the 6 double steps finally. What took us so long? Now to the triple rolling boulder. Rather first on the first boulder. The second boulder's taking a bit longer because he's not jumping as much on the edge. You can think about it, if you jump further on the edge of the ball rolls faster. In the first ball he did that, so it was faster. Now to the beam flipper. He's got the small ledge. We saw a lot of people fail the jump to that small... the small jump. The small thing. My commentary isn't getting any better. Anyways, he is through the beam flipper, about to get through the beam flipper, that is. Now onto the ring toss. Ring toss, we've also seen many people fail here. I think we saw 4 people make it past this obstacle, 4 or 5 in the last episode. Not a lot. It's a tough one, but he's doing pretty well. He's already on the transition over. Turns around. Takes his time. Here comes the jump. He catches it barely. And he fails the next jump. The last set of this ring toss is just a tiny bit more difficult and it's gone so many people. Next up is Dennis the 122. He's taking the safety jumps on the 6 double steps. Like I said, taking his time. The time doesn't matter. We've seen 2 clears and both of them took their time. No, he's struggling with the ball. Seems to be lagging a bit. Here we go. Ball's moving forward. I still don't know how to commentate this obstacle. He's onto the second ball. This really is lagging a bit annoying. He makes the jump to the third ball. Now moving through it, slowly but surely, onto the rope, catches it, dismount, and he's onto the beam flipper. Resting for a second, never a bad idea, and he's on. Here comes the tough jump, he makes it. Now the transition to the second set. Now the big jump. He's moving surprisingly well, surprisingly good. And he couldn't catch the jump onto the last set, unfortunate. Next up is Dark Phoenix _YT, who I believe now goes by the name of Dark Henix _YT. He changed one word. He is off, I'm pretty sure he competed in Season 1, didn't clear Stage 1. He has made it through the 6 double steps, is now onto the triple rolling boulder, just like many people before him. And just like many runs before him, this is still boring to watch and boring to commentate, but hey, at least his head isn't hidden behind the time, that's something new. We finally got a good cameraman. Incredible, what a surprise. Never expected to come this far. We can actually see the competitor. Now he's dismounted the second obstacle, now into the beam flipper, moving quite fast. Got the small gap. Oh, he needs to turn around. There he goes, onto the next set. Taking a break. Only gets harder from here on, so that's probably a smart move. Now onto the last set. Big jump. One more to go, and here comes the dismount, and he makes it barely. He almost slipped off on the last set of the beam flipper. Takes a small break for the ring toss. There was the cut, because the ring toss didn't work once again. Happened quite a lot. He's off, he's moving through. Here comes the transition to the second... No. Oh, transition to the second set, and he couldn't catch on. He couldn't catch on. The ring just fly away. Anyways, next up is Min Ninja 712. Competed in the last season. I cannot remember how far he got though. Did he clear stage 1? I'm not sure. But he's onto the rolling boulder. He's jumping to make form move, like everyone does. It's a rolling boulder. What are you supposed to say about it? Got it, catches the rope. Ooh, push it a little bit. That brought out of balance, but doesn't matter. He managed to. He made it through. He dismounted. He's now in the beam flipper. Moving through the beam smoothly. Here comes the transition. Got it, catches it. Now to the last set. He's moving at a decent pace. And he's dismounted. Min Ninja 712 looking promising up to this point. Oh, he almost missed the first jump, but he catched it. He's jumping a little late, but it seems to work out somehow. It's onto the second set. Moving upwards the rungs. Here comes the transition to the other side. Spins around, does the jump. And these jumps, I've mentioned it before, they're more difficult. The last set of ring toss is more difficult than everything else. Next up is Slow but Perfecto. Let's see if he's really Perfecto, and let's hope he's not that slow. He's off a second late, but it doesn't matter. He is rather slow. No, he's picking up speed. It's alright. It's onto the rolling boulder. He's jumping further at the edge, which is making the boulder move faster, so he's not slow at all. Okay, enough with the 9 puns. He's already on his third ball. About to catch the rope. And now he catches the rope. Dismounts onto the platform, now onto the beam flipper. So many people have been taken out by this. Can slow make it. He catches a small gap. Here comes the big jump, makes it onto the third set. Slow but perfecto. Doing not bad at all. He almost failed, but he jumped against the beam. Interesting. He dismounts and he's off now into the ring toss. First, catch this jump, the next one, and another one, and another one. Here comes the second set. Transfers onto it nicely. Moves up the rungs, or handles, I should say. Now transition to the other side. Takes a break. Turns around, jumps, catches. Here comes the hard part. I've talked about this a couple of times. These jumps are harder. Slow but Perfecto is moving through it, and he dismounts. He's made it through the ring toss. It's the first person in this episode. He's now on to the next obstacle, the bouncing spider. There's a lot of ledges in the spider. There's a lot you can skip, but they are small. Some are even smaller. Oh, he catches the small ledge, the smallest one. He's onto the trampoline, jumps, catches it. Can slow but perfecto. I don't know who this is, but can he be the first clear of the episode? The thing's spinning and he walks off. It's unfortunate. Next is Bacon Averix. I haven't seen him ages. He's off onto the 6 double steps, moving through with good pace. I think I'm talking way too much about the speed in this entire tournament. Anyways, onto the rolling boulder. And he's using a backwards walking strategy, partially. He's taking 2 jumps to get the ball rolling, then takes the walking strategy, which seems to work pretty well for him. Onto the rope, dismounts, here comes the beam flipper once again. He's almost rushing it. He tries to skip the small gap, which many have failed, but couldn't manage to do so, and isn't moving on. Best result in this wave is Slow but Perfecto, a newcomer. He came out of nowhere, it seems. Next up, starting the next wave, is another mobile player, Card ESD. He's off onto the 6 double steps. He's moving slow, taking it safe. Good approach. He competed in Season 1 and failed the jumping spider, I think. Maybe. I absolutely know the results of my own competition. I know them exactly. Anyways, he's onto the 3rd boulder. Moving it forward, now into the rope. Dismounts, goes onto the beam flipper. He's doing it without shift and still he walks up over the edge. Next up is another mobile user, Cyrus08 UK, newcomer to RNW, hasn't competed in Season 1. He's off onto the 6 double steps, moving across, getting the safety jump right there and onto the platform, now onto the rolling boulder, triple rolling boulder. He's jumping, just like everyone. Onto the 2nd boulder. Moves it to the end of the track and onto the 3rd boulder. Here comes the jump to the rope, catches it, goes backwards. It's probably a strategy to work against the auto jump, but there's no auto jump in this game, you don't have to do that. He's taking it slow on the beam flipper, once cleared, makes sense. He's taking a jump between every single jump. That makes no sense. Anyways, he's about to dismount, makes it through, and is now onto the ring toss. Cyrus08 UK. Jumps onto the 2nd handle, the 3rd, 4th. He's quite on the edge, but on the edge of the handle, but it seems to work. Now moving up, he's moving further onto the handles now. Taking it a bit slower, safer, probably smart. He keeps the transition to the other side, turns around, jumps, catches it. Now the hard part of this obstacle. He seems to get through it quite well. Last handle, dismount, he's onto the platform. We've got a 2nd person in this episode onto the bouncing spider. He seems to have a problem, regenerates the obstacle again. Now gets onto the ledges. It's an interesting technique of jumping here. Seems to do it partially with shift lock, partially without shift lock. In case you're wondering, I've got mobile shift lock in this game, just like in pretty much every game I make. Just moving up to the other side, catches a small ledge over there. Taking a short break, continues moving through the bouncing spider. Here comes the trampoline. The thing is moving, but he still catches it somehow. He transfers to the 2nd thing, moving around, moving sideways. It's easy to walk off like this, or fall off. Spinning around. Onto the last one. Almost onto the last one. There he goes. Over that in the warp wall, and we might be about to see another clear, the first clear of the episode. First clear of the episode, and it's a mobile user. Anyways, next up is Dominus Lagito. Now into the starting line. He's starting a bit late. You can go. Yeah, there you go. Moving up the 6 double steps. Moving up onto the rolling boulder. Regenerates the obstacle, jumps into the boulder, and he jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps onto the second boulder, and he jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps onto the third boulder, and he jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps. And what has this commentary become? Onto the rope, dismounts, now to the beam flipper, and he fails the second jump. Next up is Nail Dog. With is the first thing he says before every single run in every single competition. With. The interesting part is that I didn't just stop the commentary, I just not talking. The microphone's still active, you can still hear everything. So if you hear like background noises, yeah, the microphone's still active. Anyways, Nail Dog's onto the ring toss. He's actually moving with good pace, about a minute in. Into the third handle right now, makes it to the fourth. Onto the fifth and onto the second set, catches the jump, now moving upwards, moving up the handles, all the way up. Here comes the transition, turns around, jumps, catches it, now the hard jumps, catches the first one, the second. One more handle to go, catches this, about to dismount the ring toss, and now into the bouncing spider. Catches the in the background, cheering him on, probably. Nail Dog. That's his name. This is episode 2 of Cringe Commentaries with Timba. Nail is about to finish the bouncing spider, not really, he's on the third spider part now. Moving through, here comes the big ledge and onto the trampoline, catches the log. Who are you? Why are you here? They're making the logs shake. No, you just giving me extra work. Okay, here we go. Nail Dog onto the last log. Dismounts the warp wall. It's about to be the second play of this wave even.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. Gonna get their attention. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary. Yeah, we're gonna be legends. Gonna teach them all a lesson. Got this feeling in our souls we carry. It's about to be legend.
Next up is Shadows_Death, who is probably better known under the name of II Magic Zell, who's now moving through the sextuple steps. Shadows moved away from the Ninja Warrior community a bit. He's still active in Roblox, sometimes active in Ninja. Anyways, he's onto the rolling boulder, to the second set, now the second boulder, now to the third boulder. About to get to the rope, catches it, here comes the dismount, easy jump, no problem for him, moving through the beam flip with quite some speed. Into the third set, he's not taking his time. Here comes the big jump, oh, he barely catches it, and the dismount onto the ring toss. I've already seen 2 clays in this wave, are we about to see a third one? Oh, nope, he failed the first jump on the ring toss. Sad. Kylie Weeken, however you pronounce this, is another one to fail the small gap on the beam flipper. After that, real good at games. Really took his time, and then proceeded to do the same thing. Next up is Rune Catalyst, number 69, haha funny. This is actually the he was actually the 69th person to run. That's how I signed the numbers. Most of the numbers at least. There are excuses towards the end. But yeah, Rune Catalyst onto the rolling boulder already, 15 seconds. Onto the third boulder. There's the Dark Phoenix flying in the way. And he's gone now. Rope, ooh, interesting strategy. He pushed it to dismount like 0.1 seconds faster. Now moving through the beam flipper smoothly with a good pace. He's actually, wow, he's fast. He's like 10 seconds faster than everyone else up until this point. Now to the ring toss. By the way, he did compete in Season 1, cleared Stage 1. He's onto the second set of the ring toss. Now done to transition to the third. He hits the third one as the 1 minute mark strikes. And here comes the dismount. Rune Catalyst moving through with great pace. We haven't seen anyone up until this point even close to this fast. Everyone who made it this far took their time. Rune Catalyst did not take any time. He's standing strong, moving through the bouncing spider. Here comes the trampoline, catches the lock things. Onto the second, the third, fourth, and fifth. Here comes the dismount. And we've got about to have a clay in less than 2 minutes.
You can call me king. You can call me king of the world. You can call me king. You can call me king of the world.
Whoa. 1 minute 44, that's why I consider speed. In the last episode we saw YVNQ_Dev, now it's time for YVNQ_Caleb. He is a newcomer, moving through these 6 double steps. He's the last person of this wave, I believe. Yeah, he should be. So after this we will see who's moving on. I have this crazy wave with 3 clears so far. Will Caleb be the 4th clear? He's onto the second boulder and onto the third one. Jumping slowly, here comes the rope. And he jumps off the rope. No 4th clear. We've got 3, that's enough, and Shadows_Dev and Carter's D are moving on as well. We're kicking off the next wave with 17_RBX, formerly known as L3XALCOS. I'd rather say 17_RBX. That's a lot shorter and easier. He's onto the rolling boulder, moving through the first boulder, now jumps to the second boulder, jumps at the very edge, moving it fast. I like that. Keep doing that. He's now onto the rope, catches it, dismounts onto the platform. Here comes the beam flipper. The small gap, he catches it onto the second set. He's moving fast. I don't know what the camera is doing. Comes the big jump onto the 4th set. Next one, the stick out, catches it barely. The 4th set now. Here's another big jump. And here comes the dismount, now onto the ring toss. We haven't seen many people struggle with the ring toss so far in the second episode, in the second qualifying of 2 qualifiers. Here's now on the transition to the 3rd set, catches it. Now the more difficult jumps, which he's doing quite well. Dismounts, 17_RBX, about to go into the bouncing spider. He seems to want to take every single ledge. No, he skipped one there. But he's taking the safe route, never mind. He's taking the fast route. Oh, he had a weird jump strategy there and did not land on the ledge. I mean, that's unfortunate. 17 underscore RBX, great performance. Next up is Builder-Cerberus. A regular returning. He has cleared stage 1 in season 1. Then failed like the first obstacle on stage 2. And he fails the first obstacle in the qualifying course this time around. Builder-Cerberus is out. Next up is Starhate underscore Submend, number 75. He is now into the 6 double steps, the 3rd step and the 4th. About to dismount the 6 double steps, here comes the rolling boulder. There's 3 of those boulders. We all know that by now, but I have to commentate something, you know, just something. I can't just let this be like last episode, which is I stayed silent every time this obstacle came up. Now I don't want to do that again. At least I'm trying not to. I don't promise anything, to be honest. He's onto the rope, dismounts, onto the platform. Here comes the beam flipper. He's jumping around. Here comes the small gap, catches it. Onto the 2nd set. This is very laggy footage. Here comes the first bigger jump, makes it onto the 3rd set. Oh, he walks off. At least I think he walked off. I couldn't quite see because it was very laggy, but he definitely failed. Next up is Caden H21, the guy who said he would cancel me if I don't give him a free redo. Try what you want. Onto the 6 double steps, the 3rd step and the 4th. He's jumping through. He barely managed to catch that jump onto the platform. Here comes the triple rolling boulder. Going slow like so many people. Just saying, Rune Catalyst was already through the 2nd obstacle at this point. To the 3rd boulder, jumps forward, here comes the rope, catches the rope. He doesn't jump to the platform, falls off. Nothing can do here. Next up is Mr. Invisible. It was a bit complicated to film this run because you see, if we filmed it normally, you wouldn't see anything, so we settled with attaching a camera to his head. That's probably the best we could do. Anyways, he was made through the 6 double steps and is now to the triple rolling boulder. He's a newcomer, he's a bit of an odd one out in this competition. He's about to jump to the 3rd boulder. An interesting strategy. It's a bit weird to see it from the view of the competitors, but it's also interesting to see what they see. He's now onto the beam flipper. He's moving fast, catches a small gap onto the 2nd set. Oh, he's moving really fast. Here comes the jump to the 3rd set, catches it, jumps around the stick out and onto the final set. Here comes the big jump, makes it, one more jump, and here's the dismount, catches it. He's not moving slow either. He's resting for a second before the ring toss. Never a bad idea. Now he mounts onto the ring toss. Starts jumping. 2nd jump. Onto the 4th handle. It's the end of the set. Now transitions to the 2nd set. Moving upwards from here on out. He's doing incredibly well considering he's got a camera on his head that's gotta be annoying. But it's the only way we can see this run and see how he's doing. To the last set, here comes the transition. He just needs to switch around, change hands. Yeah, he does that. To the 3rd set. The 3rd set of the ring toss. Now moving upwards. He's struggling a bit to get to the 3rd. He's struggling a lot. Here he goes. He made it to the 3rd handle. He's taking a break now. His hand's gonna be given up soon. That can't have infinite grip strength. Makes it to the last handle and dismounts. I'm sure he needs a short break after that. He hang for a long time the ring toss. His hand's gonna be burning. He's now into the bouncing spider. Can't take too long. Bouncing spider, moving through it. Up here, around there. Jumping. This is top tier commentary. but I think I've said that a lot of times at this point. Here comes the trampoline, he slips off but makes it anyways. No, he doesn't. He catches the jump but can't hold onto the log and falls off. Next up is Skyblock's Lava. He's standing at the very edge of the start line, now into the 6 double steps, and he already failed the second jump. Next up is Prio V1, formerly known as Twisted_Elements. Now onto the starting line, onto the 6 double steps I mean. Moving through with a good pace, I appreciate it. Here comes the triple rolling boulder. I said I was gonna try to commentate this obstacle this episode, but I really don't know what to say. It's just the same thing over and over and it's so boring. Catches the rope, dismounts onto the platform, here comes the beam flipper. Character D in the background once again. He's been on the sidelines for a couple of runs. Comes the stick out, no problem for Cryo. Big jump, here comes the dismount onto the ring toss. I think 50 seconds is about average speed at this point. Like some point I consider it fast, but we've seen a lot of people make it at that time to the ring toss. Anyways, he's moving up the second set. Here comes the transition to the third set. Harder jumps, can he make it? Yes, he... Ooh. I was about to say he doesn't have any problems with them, but he's struggling a little, but makes it ooh, barely catches the dismount. Almost slipped off there. Now into the bouncing spider. Moving right through the bouncing spider. So onto the second spider set, and onto the third. Third is the most difficult because the ledges are smaller, there are less ledges, and you've got these walls where you can jump around, but that's no problem for him. Onto the trampoline, catches the log, jumps onto the second log, on the third, fourth, and fifth log, dismounts onto the warp wall, and here comes another clear. Another incredible performance out of Cryo. We've already had double the amount of clears in this episode than the entire last episode. These 5 people are moving on to the finals. Next up is ButterSun7, number 81. We're moving on the last 20 runners. The last 20 runners, that's incredible. It's been so much work to get here. ButterSun fails the second jump. Next up, we get a nice look at the qualifying course, and here's Game Show Fan 123. Excuse me, not Game Show Fan, Game Show Fan. SO Fan. Switch around the S and H. What are you gonna do about it? Onto the triple rolling boulder. Problem. He comes the second rolling boulder, jumps at the very front to the third boulder, and here comes the rope. Can he catch it? Yes, he can. Can he make the dismount? Oh, he doesn't jump, but he still makes it somehow. Next is the beam flipper, which he's moving through. He couldn't catch the small gap though, just like so many others. Next up is Jake the Football 13, number 85. There's a lot of people I cut out here, but I've somehow gonna narrow down this episode. I can't have one episode 2 hours long. That's how long it would be if I showed every one run in its full length. Just can't do that. Anyways, Jake the Football on the third rolling boulder right now, jumps to the rope. Dismount, gets the dismount to the platform, now the beam flipper, moving through quite fast. Oh, and fails the jump. Maybe it's not that smart to go that fast. Next up is Noah 19277. Number 86. On the starting platform, here gets the go signal. Now it moves through its 6 double steps. He's taking the safety jumps, doesn't want to fail those. Obviously, who wants to fail the first obstacle? No one does. Now onto the rolling boulder. Jumping nice and firmly. Now to the next boulder. Keeps jumping and keeps jumping onto the third rolling boulder. Third rolling boulder, here comes the rope, catches it. The dismount platform, beam flipper, 40 seconds on the clock. Here comes the small gap. Oh, what was that? He almost fell off and can't catch the small gap either. Next up is Ryan Bro 2154. He's off onto the 6 double steps once again. Here comes the 5th step and this dismounts onto the rolling boulder. Jumps forwards onto the 2nd boulder, catches it. Now rolling it very slowly onto the 3rd boulder, catches that jump as well. Moving another boulder very slowly. And here comes the rope. And he dismounts. Now goes into the beam flipper. First jump is no problem. I don't think anyone failed the very first jump. Here comes the small gap. He catches it but walks off after that. Unfortunate. Next up is Aixen. The camera's on underwater. He made the 6 double steps now to the triple rolling boulder. Moving through it onto the 2nd boulder. There's still a lot of fun to commentate. Rolling boulders, so much fun, so much depth in this obstacle. Here comes the rope. The rope's moving. He dismounts onto the platform, and here's the beam flipper. Catches a small gap onto the 2nd set. Now jumps onto the 3rd. He almost fell off there, but he walks off right after that. Next up is Rich_Squigs, the 2nd place overall and last mobile player standing of Season 1. Incredible performance, one of the only 2 Stage 2 clears. I think we can expect a lot. He's onto the 6 double steps. Makes it through with ease and speed. Now onto the triple rolling boulder. Jumps. And he misses the jump to the 2nd boulder. Rich_Squigs, a veteran, is out on the 2nd obstacle. And we will not see him again. What happened? Next up is MR_AV. His actual name is Average Guy 80. I have no idea why I wrote down his display name on the display. I wrote down his display name on the display. Incredible. What even is the camera doing? I have no idea. This is what happens when you let other people film. I'd like to say I'm not doing that again, but I'm afraid I did again for Tournament 3. But we can talk about that in the next tournament. Average Guy 80 is now onto the rolling boulder after taking a long break after the first obstacle. He's now moving onto the 3rd boulder. He's moving slow to the rope, catches it, dismounts. Here comes the beam flipper. Does the first jump. Here comes the small gap. Can he catch it? Ooh, barely. He almost fell off, but he did manage to catch it. Onto the next set. Here comes the first big jump. Catches that. Onto the 3rd set. He's taking his time, but he's doing it safe. But there are advantages in doing that. Like, he's doing well. Don't get me wrong. It's just slow. Here comes the dismount of the beam flipper. Ooh. That was right on the edge, he almost fell off there. That would have been unfortunate. I'm getting DM'd. I can look at that later. Average guy 80 is now on the ring toss. Managed to make it through this first set, now it's onto the second. Moving up those handles. One more handle, here comes the transition. Spins around, jumps, catches it. Moving further. Wow, he misses the second to last jump on the ring toss. How unfortunate. Next up is Turtwig 5943. He has not competed this competition before. He's the last man standing of Rising Ninja Warriors, some season of those, I don't know. But that was long after this was recorded. He's on the rolling boulder right now, on the second boulder. Let's see how far he can make it. He's on the third boulder, 20 seconds on the clock. Now catches the rope and the dismount. Now onto the beam flipper. There's someone. I have to take care of this one. Yep, alright. It's gone. He's resting on the platform, taking his time. Taking a sweet, sweet time. It's now off onto the beam flipper. Here comes the small gap, catches it onto the second set. As soon as he jumps, he's still resting in that gap. He catches the jump. Now continues moving through into the third set. Next set. Here comes the last one. Big jump, and he doesn't catch it. Unfortunate. Turtwig is out of the qualifiers. He may still be able to make it to the finals. Next up is number 94, Duck Menagerie. He's on the starting platform. There's the go signal. He's lagging, but he's made it to the third step. Now onto the rolling boulder. This commentary is starting to get really annoying, but I know that I'm like less than 10 runs away from finishing, so I'm just gonna continue now. It's on the second boulder. Moving through it swiftly. It's lagging again. He's very laggy, or maybe I'm laggy. I don't know. Whoever filmed this, I can't remember right now. Anyways, he's made it through the third boulder, catches the rope onto the platform, onto the beam flipper, moving with quite some speed, catches the small gap onto the next set. He took quite some time on the rolling boulder, but he's making up for it on the beam flipper, it seems. Here comes the big jump, catches it, and the dismount, and Duck Menagerie is onto the ring toss. Here comes the first jump. He's taking his time. Ring toss is a tough obstacle, should not be underestimated. I don't think he is underestimating it. He's made it to the third handle already. He's lagging again, but he's on the fourth and the fifth handle. Here comes the transition to his second set. He catches it. Now he has to move upwards. He has to move upwards. One more jump. Oh, he couldn't make it. Duck Menagerie has failed. That's sad. Next up is VGXX, number 95. I'm getting more messages. I can't do anything about it right now. I'm commentating. G is on the starting platform. Never mind, he's off on the 6 double steps. He took like 5 seconds to even get started, but he's made it through. Now onto the rolling boulder. A triple rolling boulder. He's moving through it onto the second boulder. I don't know why the time has changed. It's evening. It's getting late, you know. Someday I've got to finish the qualifier runs. Took a long time, very long time, but we'll have to deal with it. Comes the jump onto the small gap, he makes it. Next set, jumps through. The next set, he's made it through onto the final set. Comes the big jump, makes it with ease. He's managed to make up the time he's lost at the start quite well onto the ring toss. Moving through the first set, no problem for Guy. Onto the second set, moving upwards now, which he's doing without any problems. And here comes the transition once again, spins around, jumps, catches it. Onto the third set of the ring toss, the most difficult one. But he makes it anyways, dismounts onto the platform. Takes a short break, resting. It's lagging again. Now onto the bouncing spider. To the bouncing spider. He is. Oh, he fell off there. I didn't exactly see what happens. It's unfortunate. But likely to be enough to move on. Next up is Not Banner. It looks like a banana, but he's not Banner. He's moving at the very edge of the steps. Interesting strategy, but he has made it through. Next up is the rolling boulder. Onto the first boulder now. Oh, and he missed the jump onto the second boulder. He's out. Next one is Yummy Sean 229. He's number 99. There's only one more run after this. He's moving through the 6 double steps and couldn't quite catch on. Unfortunate. I've only got one more left. Number 100. This is Exotic Miller. Exotic Miller, number 100, now very last competitor to attempt the qualifying course, Grand Champion of Season 1. That's quite the achievement. It wasn't an easy course. So many people failed it, many failed stage 1, only 2 got to stage 3, and he managed to go all the way, defeating the final stage. Known as Mount Midoriyama, he's now onto the 3rd rolling boulder. Interesting strategy right there. He goes to the edge, jumps and jumps back and waits until he's on the edge. So the rope is now on the beam flipper, moving through quite with speed. He skips the last gap right there. Now onto the next set. Oh, okay, that's interesting. He catches the back of the jump and skips the last jump as well, straight onto the dismount. Yet he's slower than Rune Catalyst. It's surprising. It's probably the triple rolling boulder that cost him this time. But he's taken absolutely no time. He's just going right through it. I think he's aiming for the fastest time. He's got a tough competitor for that though. 1 minute 44 standing. He's got to hurry up through the bouncing spider, and he's going fast. He's going incredibly fast. Not even thinking. He knows this obstacle out of his mind, it looks like. 1 minute 25. He is by far the faster, and he is about to clear with the fastest time.
Here we go. I shine, we shine, you already know. Here we go. I shine, we shine, you already know.
Exotic Miller with a great performance once again, clearing with the fastest time. We'll see him as the last runner on stage 1 in the finals, which will be the next episode. Hi, so I was planning to have like a fancy looking display of everyone who managed to move on, all the 25 people. I worked on this for hours and then I had a blue screen, all the progress was lost and I couldn't be bothered to redo it, so enjoy the music and I'll see you in the finals.